Before I start, just a reminder of what Money Talks is all about in just 36 words. We're living the age of consequences, the demise of the welfare state and the declining confidence in government, and the impact of these trends on you, on your personal finances, including the impact on currencies, stocks, bonds, real estate, food prices, and travel costs. That's it. And if you want to know what's going on, there are no trends more important to understand. That's the big picture in the U.S. election. What is the outcome going to do to propel the decline in confidence in government? So to this week, where do I start? WikiLeaks' Julian Assange gets his internet access cut off by the Ecuadorian government under pressure from the White House. Well, secrecy, outright deceit, corruption of the State Department, Clinton Foundation, new evidence on the missing emails. No wonder the Democratic establishment is pissed off. Mrs. Clinton is on record as saying that Assange should be, in her words, in quotes, obliterated by a drone strike, end of quote. In response, the anti-establishment hackers, you may have seen this, shut down the internet in many areas of the States yesterday. Mr. Assange asked them to stop. Now, personally, I think he's done a remarkable public service. Leaked emails have shown a pattern of deceit, outright lies, government corruption that lend credence to every conspiracy theory about the dark side of government. It started with Eric Snowden's leak that revealed government surveillance on a scale only the most paranoid previously entertained. Like the thought that CSIS knows exactly what internet sites you visited while waiting at the airport, that's part of that released email. You'll learn so much about it. The most hopeful item I saw this week, though, were the poll results of young American voters conducted by the University of Massachusetts Lowell Center for Public Opinion. Young Americans are so dissatisfied with their choice in this presidential election that nearly 1 in 4 responded they'd rather have a giant meteor destroy the earth than see Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton in the White House. Joshua Dykes, the co-author of that study, says the fact that 1 in 4 of our young people pick giant meteor tells you something about the political dissatisfaction and disaffection that's being shown by American youth. And that gets to the heart of why this election is significant. I have to be honest with you, I laugh, not smile, but laugh when I receive an email chastising me, some hating me, for being critical of the buffoonery of Donald Trump or the corruption of Hillary Clinton. You have to understand that I feel no compunction to dispense with my personal values in order to support any political party or candidate. And both of these candidates, what is it? They don't have the character, integrity, decency to be president of the United States. They absolutely don't represent any of my values. My advice, quit making excuses for these people. Quit making excuses for politicians in general. The compromise to your personal integrity in supporting either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton is profound. But back to the important point. This election adds fuel to the growing distrust of government that's evident around the world. Look at the latest polls in the U.S. In the 1950s, trust in the U.S. government hovered around 75%. You know what that number is today? It's gone below 20%. It's at 19%. 74% of respondents to a Pew Research poll stated that the most elected officials put their own interests ahead of the country. The Chapman University survey of American fears just this past week found that corruption of government officials is the top fear among U.S. adults, by far. Now in Canada, politicians fare only slightly better. A Samara Canada poll found that 60% of Canadians don't trust politicians or political parties. Back to the young people in the U.S. Last year, a Reason Roop survey of Americans between the ages of 18 and 29 found 58% are convinced government agencies abuse their power, while merely 25% trust government agencies to do the right thing. How do you think this is going to play out in the future? Have you seen anything in this election, anything, let alone in those leaked emails, that's going to improve the level of trust or confidence in government? Not a chance. Last week I stated that not only are we witnessing the demise of the U.S. political system, but the mainstream media. I didn't have to wait long for further confirmation of that statement. The Pew Research poll found that only 5% of the American public, 5%, has a high level of trust in the media. 61% don't have much or no trust at all in the media. Think about that. This is consistent, by the way, with numerous other studies in Canada. An Ipsos Reid poll a year ago found that Canadian media is only considered extremely trustworthy by 18% of the public. And they think the one-sided political coverage that borders on cheerleading at times is going to help. Well, I think they're sadly mistaken. I'll leave you with one other aspect of the poll results to consider. As I've stated for the last 2 years, when people or the media or academia gets apoplectic over Donald Trump, I said, are you kidding me? He's not the last. He's just the first. He's not one off. The distrust and dissatisfaction is actually at a historical level. And hence, you should worry about not Donald Trump, but who and what comes next. As I've stated before, this trend is going to continue. The collapse of the pension system in several states and cities will take dissatisfaction with government to a new level. So what comes next? Well, consider the answer to the Pew survey about the most trusted group in society. While politicians are at rock bottom, 79% of the public say the military. That's the most trusted group in society. We'll see how this all plays out. But that's the context. Lack of trust in government is going to move currencies, stocks. It already has real estate values. You're listening from Vancouver. Come on. Who pushed the upper end of your real estate market? Money leaving China in search of safety. That's what's going to propel the major bull market that I see coming in the next several years. That's the game. That's why this election is, I think, of significant importance, because the distrust of government is only going to be exacerbated.